There's a monster inside all of us.
What is the monster? There are infinite answers. Is it trauma? Is it insecurities? Is it rage? Is it the ugly side we all try to hide? To me, it is something more primal and animalistic in nature. It is fear itself, the survival instinct of fight or flight, the dreadful feeling when we confront death face to face.
To fight. To survive.
Have you ever fallen into the abyss? Staring into the void, contemplating the nature of existence? The immense adrenaline that leaks out of the bones and rushes from your spine to the brain, paralyzing your thoughts like death itself, trapping you in its claws of existential dread.
Fear haunts us all, child.
What's in the box?
Pain. An animal caught in a trap will gnaw off its own leg to escape. What will you do?
Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings obliteration. And I'll face my fear and I'll permit it to pass over me and through me.
You could pass a lifetime without ever facing a choice like that. But it changes you forever.
Death is the motif of Jinx's and Vi's story, a call from the dear friend across the river, from the world below. Vi faced their parents' death in the eye, clutching onto Powder's hand, the only one she had left, forming the fear of loss. Powder drew faces over the dead, deflecting and gauging the reactions from Vi, the only one who hadn't left, forming the fear of abandonment. Their traumatic response to the deaths of their past shaped their distinct character, as fear is arguably the biggest motivator in why human beings continue to struggle and exist. Vi, now shouldering the responsibility of leading a foster family under the guidance of Vander, is forced to grow up rapidly and bear the burden similar to that of a parent.
Those kids look up to you.
Yeah, I know.
You know, but you don't know. When people look up to you, you don't get to be selfish. But whatever happens, it's on you.
The cruel acts of the enforcers motivate her to act against the enemy known as the Upper City, to fight for a place for Powder's future where she can blossom and grow.
That my place is down there. I want Powder to have more than that, and I'm willing to fight for it.
It is almost selfless, in a sense that is motherly, rather than just an older sister, to wish to provide the best for Powder. Vi is authoritative but gentle. She is proud and believes in Powder's potential.
Look, I've got these, and you've got those.
They never work.
They will.
She is also observant and intelligent, recognizing.
You know, Powder, what makes you different makes you strong. Always remember that, okay?
And that,
You're not ready. You're all I have left.
however, her reliance on strength and violence makes her an unfitting role model, especially for Powder, who looks up to her.
I led us across this bridge, thinking things could change. I know you want to hurt the topsiders for what they've done to us. But who are you willing to lose? Milo? Clagger? Powder?
It is the vulnerability of Vander that helped her realize strength has its limits.
What are we gonna do?
I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Attempting to sacrifice herself to protect her family.
I'm sorry, this is the only way to protect the others.
You've got a good heart. Don't ever lose it. No matter how the world tries to break you. Protect the family.
Vi, unbeknownst to most, is actually the first one who walked away from her monsters, from the cycle of violence. Overwhelmed by the death of her new family and is forced upon the truth that the violence unfolded is caused by the act of Powder, Vi unleashes her wrath and resentment, hitting Powder uncontrollably. The same hand that is supposed to caress and protect her sister is now the same hand that fights those who are considered enemies. It is the monster that drives us to our greatest good and also our greatest evil, two sides of the same coin.
I pretended to chase my own monsters away. I'd say, no monster's gonna get you when I'm here. Then a real monster showed up. And I just ran away. I left her.
Powder, driven by the fear of abandonment, constantly seeks approval from Vi. Despite her age and physique, tried desperately to prove her value, that she isn't weak, that she can help. However, desperation is dangerous. The attempt of saving her family through destruction is fated to fail, as power without control is only violence, leading to the great tragedy. Again, faced with the deaths of her father and brothers, Powder denies and deflects.
No! Why did you leave me?
She has always seen Vi as the vital existence tied to her own being. The fear of abandonment triumphs and overweighs the mistake she made. She could only plead for Vi's forgiveness, but has rejected the chance to do so, turning all mixed emotions into anger and resentment against Vi's betrayal.
She left me. She is not my sister anymore.
For that is the only way she could hold herself together from the self-hatred and guilt that is impossible to bear. She needs someone to say to her that
It's okay. We'll show them. We will show them all.
What is Jinx? Names have power.
Don't sugarcoat it.
Cupcake.
Dr. Revik.
They are what give us our unique shape, our form reflected through the world around us. Names give meaning, give definition, an identity to be perceived and called upon.
I've always liked the name Violet.
Are you still in this fight, Violet?
Because you're a Jinx! Do you hear me?
Jinx is a name that is given, encapsulating all the tragedies that define her.
But he didn't make Jinx. You did.
Jinx is the base violence necessary for change for Powder, the weapon and armor equipped by Powder to stay by Silco's side, the chaotic and manic persona that laughs and opens fire to silence self-doubts and hallucinations, is the self-defense mechanism when the inner being and stability of Powder is threatened, that stops her weakness from opening up. It is the monster within that externalized, an embodiment of fear close to the state of anarchy, a force of nature. The self-deprecating humor and reckless abandonment of safety are self-punishing and self-inflicted wounds that serve as living reminders that she is the Jinx, that she deserves the suffering. Jinx is a personality that bears all the sins as the facade, so that behind the mask, the crying little girl is protected.
It was a mistake.
However, there is a lack of self in Jinx. She is defined by the ones she is dependent on. Her purpose is relied solely upon others, not herself. She never takes responsibility for what happens, avoiding and deflecting from making her own decisions. She sees a fractured and dissociating reality, painting over the world as a form of self-expression to establish her fantasy that only she lives in. It is fear that controls her. It is the pain Silco sees as something to be overcome.
You need to let Powder die, so the fear of pain will no longer control you.
The effect of the spiritual baptism is short-lived, as it is a lesson taught by Silco superficially, a transformation that is incomplete as it is not guided by the will of Jinx herself. Being lied to is still the bane to Jinx's being. The reappearance of Vi sends the wall crumbling down as the core fear of abandonment is amplified from both sides. Seeing Vi turn her back once again, choosing Caitlyn over herself, Jinx accepts her death, detonating the grenade for the first time, willing to die for the cause of Silco. Silco, who sees Jinx as his very own daughter now, learns the fear of loss.
Are you prepared to lose her?
That there is someone, a cause worth dying for, instead of fighting for.
You die for the cause, but you won't fight for one.
I'm just not that man anymore.
Oh, it all makes sense now, brother. Is there anything so undoing as a daughter?
Jinx undergoes singed operations. the first living specimen that have no apparent repercussions and physical deformation, able to control and utilize Shimmer as a newfound ability. From what we have seen, Shimmer seems to expand creatures' capacity to change, breaking the confines of nature, most significantly enhancing the senses and strengths, like adrenaline, triggering survival instincts to improve the ability of fight or flight. It is curious as to why Jinx can withstand and adapt to Shimmer so quickly. I believe it is a case of both natural affinity and the fact that Jinx has always been stimulated by inner fears to the point she is used to the surges of outbursting energy. Under the heightened and unstable mind state, Jinx now sees Silco turn his back on her. Unable to decide between her old and new family, Jinx puts the decision on Vi once again. But the moment of reckoning comes, where she finally has to pull the trigger and bear the consequences. This time, she looks into the eyes of Silco as the light fades, finally facing the death of a loved one without looking away. This is the moment when Jinx truly becomes an inseparable part of her identity, a name that carries not only the traumas, but also preserves the care and affection from Silco. Can people change? Or is change a mask people wear to adapt to the world they live in?
Are we still sisters?
Nothing is ever going to change that.
I can tell.
Vi has an unbreakable good heart reinforced by the dying words of Vander.
No matter how the world tries to break you, protect the family, take care of Powder.
That becomes a curse and cage that prevents her from changing. Isolated from the world, she grew up and survived clinging onto her past, hyper-fixated on reuniting with Powder to protect her family. What she finds in the form of Jinx defies all her expectations. Time and environment shapes people. Age erodes innocence. Powder has changed. She has simply grown up. Vi cannot love Jinx like she used to love Powder, as she sees change as a sense of loss.
Or maybe you'd be dead. Or changed.
She sees a present that doesn't fit the mold of her past.
She's still in there. I can reach her.
They will never understand. It's only us.
In a sense, accepting Jinx means the death of Powder in Vi's memory, a family she fails to protect.
There's only Jinx now. It has to end. Everyone in my life has changed. Promise me you won't change.
Paradoxically, Vi has
You
changed too.
So, here's to the new us.
A good heart that is polished through hardships and remains naive and hopeful. She believes the good in people and always makes the decision to save the people in front of her. Vi is the moral compass of Arcane for the fact she is the only one saving people with her own hands, a true enforcer. Vi, opposite to Jinx, defines herself for being depended on by others. She finds her purpose and value in others almost selflessly. She thrives when she fights to protect loved ones. Such nature even evokes Hextech to adapt to her needs.
Vi was strong because she was afraid. Well, her fear of losing us is what made her fight so hard.
In turn, Vi is prone to sufferings and gets lost when there is no one to protect. It is notable that Vi always loses when she fights against enemies that aren't hers. She tries to do right by everyone, but a friend to all is a friend to none. There is no right side to take, ending up alone trying to do the right thing.
I should have been there. For you. For everyone.
That's a good way to drive yourself crazy.
Still got all your insides?
It is through Jinx and Isha's interactions. Vi comes to terms that Jinx no longer needs her protection, similar to parents seeing their children form their own families.
Why'd you come get me? You don't actually need my help. You haven't for a long time.
She sees a part of herself in Jinx, the same gentleness that is genuine and beautiful. Vi finally accepts Jinx for who she is now, someone who stands equal on her own feet. Her time that was frozen since the death of Vander flows again with the family reunited.
What are you waiting for? He's your dad too.
Jinx welcomes death after Silco dies at her hands, wandering in this reality without much of a reason to stay.
'Cause no matter what I do, I just can't seem to die.
I wish I could say you die alone, but it's one of God's best jokes that you can't die, except it's on all of us!
Actively seeking out closure of what was started by Vi's hand.
I'm glad it's you. had to be you.
By a twist of fate, if Vi does take Jinx's life, she would retake the monster she left in Jinx, again trapped in the cycle of killing. Against all odds, Jinx is given a new life and purpose by Isha. The truth is, Isha is never meant to be Jinx's family. Just like how Silco accepted Jinx, Jinx saved Isha under an act of impulse. But the difference is that Isha has always meant to repay that grace, following Jinx like a guardian angel, a protector ready to sacrifice at any moment, jumping at the gun every chance she gets. Isha is the living embodiment of what Powder wished to be. Courageous, confident, and the definition of cool. In many ways, Isha resembles Powder's hero, Vi, for their ferocious nature to protect and dives headfirst into danger for what they love and cherish. Isha isn't seeking protection through their companionship. She followed Jinx for simply who she is, the one who saved her life. She doesn't need to be told that she has value, that she isn't weak. Isha knows her worth, and that actions speak louder than words. She is unapologetic in speaking her mind. Isha is fearless. She is motivational. She is the one that stands and fights for her true beliefs when others can't. The mere presence and unspoken affection of Isha grounds Jinx, filtering out all the noises of insecurities to finally be able to listen to her own thoughts, to contemplate and reminisce without deflection.
Had some time to think lately. Ever since you dropped into my life, it's like I put on glasses. Except I can't tell whether everything's blurry or clear.
Jinx begins to see the world and people instead of projections conjured by her distorted worldview, where human connections seem like thorns that would pierce her being. She feels the warmth and gratitude from strangers for the first time, that her actions have meant something, that she means something. Jinx is more than a curse that is feared, but a living human being that is an inseparable piece of everything. Jinx is not a hero. She is an anomaly.
You're the original anomaly! You're a mistake!
Jinx becomes the symbol for the Undercity not because of her intentions, but because she is an accident. The anarchist who has no care for social constructs, that raises the middle finger and paints over existing confines through self-expression, creating her own unorthodox lane to tread on. Chaos breeds possibilities. Unexpected outcomes are what people need to see to believe change is possible, planting the seeds for revolutions of ideas.
You ever need to curse a sibling or a family or a society? My card. Me, a hero. How screwed up is this place?
Ironically, Jinx now acts opposite of what people see in her. As Jinx finds her reason to stay, she becomes unwilling to change, to preserve this delicate bubble of reality.
I got something going now. A friend. And I don't want to mess it up.
The fear of betrayal no longer controls Jinx, but the new fear of loss surfaces because she now has someone to protect. This same fear that Silco came to embrace, love.
Maybe that's what I was like for you.
A love taught by Isha, as Isha loves Jinx for who she is even when Jinx can't love herself. Jinx finally knows what it is like to be an older familial figure, putting her past with Vi and Silco into perspective. She seeks out Vi to try to fix her past, now having the capacity to do so. The hopeful, honest, and vulnerable part of Jinx that is sheltered carefully all these years shines through, which reaches and convinces Vi to believe in her fantasy. Her time that was frozen since the birth of Jinx finally ticks again. Time is merciless and ever-flowing. It is the impermanence of things that is the most beautiful. There is no stopping time no matter how hard we try.
You ever wish you could just stay in one moment?
Sometimes taking a leap forward means leaving a few things behind.
What are you gonna do?
Break the cycle.
Losing Isha in deep pain and grief, Jinx stares at death itself. There is no fear and only acceptance.
Killing isn't mercy.
Killing is a cycle.
I'm done running in circles.
Her mind is more clear than it has ever been. She sees the pain in others, caused by her,
Your mom
by
was
the
there.
cycle of killing.
probably wouldn't have made a difference, but I didn't know.
In her last act of love, she tries to free Vi from the cage that is Jinx herself. A story that can't be rewritten.
You're never gonna give up on me, are you? You don't have to worry about me anymore. You don't need to feel guilty about being happy. You deserve to be with her.
To make Vi give up, Jinx has to leave no trace of her existence, to let the monster consume her entire being. The cynical side that is Jinx, and the pessimistic side that is Powder.
We build our own prisons. Bars forged of oaths, codes, commitments, walls of self-doubt and accepted limitation. We inhabit these cells, these identities, and call them us. Jinx, I think the cycle only ends when you find the will to walk away.
The hair that represents the time since Jinx was born is severed. There is no more extinction between the faces. She is free from the shackles of the superego.
There's no good version of me.
They are two sides of the same identity. They share the pain.
Jinx.
That pain that feels like it'll eat you from the inside out can either break you or forge you into something greater.
No matter what happened in the past, it's never too late to build something new.
You're strong now, just like you were always meant to be. Jinx is perfect.
Someone worth building it for.
Don't cry. You're perfect.
Jinx has to embrace all the faults of her past and rebuild a new self that she can love and be proud of.
Bad things are gonna happen. It makes us who we are. But good things happen too, you know? Like you happen. And she happened.
Vi again loses when following her heart.
I choose wrong every time. And because of it, I've lost everyone.
Finally indulges in her own desires after losing everything from her past. Finding her home next to Caitlyn, she no longer has to face the world all alone. Even so, there is a fear of uncertainty facing the boundless skies and sea of opportunities. The disorienting reality where a future full of unknowns awaits. There are no enemies in sight, no one to save or fight. It is fateful that Vi and Jinx have to face the monster of their past to truly break the cycle together.
Still don't get it, huh, sis? I'm always with you. Even when we're worlds apart.
Vi, unable to let go of anything, holds on to the remnants of her father. It is Jinx who is ready for a new beginning, taking the leap of faith.
Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
She is finally
Always
able to
with you,
protect her
sis.
sister that has always protected her. Jinx makes the choice for both of them to fully break the cycle, saying her goodbyes and walking away. All that is left is Vi alone to take in all the grief crashing down, be crushed by her loss, be broken by the world. She can finally rest her gauntlets, untie her bandages, and never fight again.
Are you still in this fight, Violet?
I wish I could say it gets easier, kiddo. But I'd be lying. What I can say is, she still needs you. They all do. So what do you say?
It's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get up.
That's my girl.
Vi no longer has to uphold the confronting and strong persona of Vi. She can be vulnerable as Violet, to continue to fight to live with Caitlyn.
I am the dirt under your nails, Cupcake. Nothing's gonna clean me out.
This is a much harder video to write and balance as the concepts are very personal and visceral. That matches the deeply emotional nature of Jinx's and Vi's story, instead of the more philosophical and ideological discussion in the last episode. leading me into writing a whole passage rambling about my own monster that had to be separated from the script, linked in the description down below. I think this is the ultimate beauty and a testament to Arcane, that two separate storylines are delivered simultaneously without obstructing each other. Different people can all find a piece of themselves in this interwoven story, a unique message that they can all take away from their experience with the show. If you like my analysis, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the next video.